Hi everyone, welcome to Trevor's Table. I hope you're doing well. Today we'll be making spicy honey baked cauliflower. Now this is a baked cauliflower recipe. It's super easy. It involves a lot of simple ingredients that many people have in both their fridge or pantry, and it should be a good time. Let's get started. All right, so as you can see, we have all our ingredients laid out here. We have our large head of cauliflower. This is just store-bought cauliflower. It can be any kind that you want. It can be a small head as well if you're looking for a smaller portion. We have some wonderful olive oil. This is just pretty generic olive oil. I usually try to not cook with olive oil because it's pretty carcinogenic and has a higher flash point than other vegetable oils. But for this, since we're just kind of baking it and I want it to soak up the flavor, I'm going to use olive oil to bake it in. We have black peppercorn, again, just normal black peppercorn, some sea salt, and that is what's going to be used to actually bake the cauliflower. Now for our sauce, we're going to add a mixture of soy sauce, some teriyaki sauce, and then this is a mixture of sesame seed oil, soybean oil, some cloverleaf honey, a few cloves of garlic we'll use in the sauce, and then lastly, some red cayenne pepper as well. Now, if you want to add more ingredients, if you like a lot more garlic, or maybe you want to add some lemon, that can be added to the sauce either during the process or you can sprinkle on things at the end. And in this case, we'll be adding some green onions or chopped green onions as garnish at the end as well. Head of cauliflower. Now, I always start with my cutting board nice and large, and I put a wet paper towel underneath it. This just helps with some of the stability. So when I go to cut anything, I don't have to worry about the cutting board slipping and me cutting my finger or anything like that. Now, you're gonna take your cauliflower, you're gonna cut it directly in half. And we're gonna remove this base root. And the easiest way I find to do this is we're just gonna cut a little triangle from the center of this heart and down across the base of the root. Like that. And now this root will pop right out, just like that. And we are going to add some of the olive oil, salt, and pepper. Now, this olive oil can just be added kind of to your discretion. As much as you think it takes to coat the cauliflower, if you think it takes more, feel free to add more. If you begin and you think it needs more later, you can add more later as well. If you don't like that much oil, this can bake just fine on its own as well without olive oil. Add some salt. Again, this is more to taste, so you can add as much salt or pepper as you would like. The salt is going to help draw out some of that moisture within the oven, so you get a little more crunch when you bite into it at the end. And then the pepper is purely just for flavor. Salt helps to enhance flavor. Pepper is an additional flavor. And then we're gonna add it to the pan. And here we have just a simple, pretty deep pan. It's a 9x13. You can also use a larger baking tray. I just like this because it holds in some of the oil and the moisture that builds up with it, where a baking tray, some of it might slide off as well. You can also put down a piece of parchment paper or tin foil if you don't want your pan getting dirty. This pan, I think, will add quite a bit of heat as it cooks, so I don't want to cover it at the time. I think it'll add a nice layer of crispiness to the cauliflower. So we're going to take the bowl that we just finished. And now we're gonna work on the sauce. As you can see, I just have a small saucepan, nothing too fancy. We're just going to add the ingredients that we had mentioned before. So we're going to start with a 1/4 cup of some soy sauce. We add a 1/4 cup of honey. We'll add 2 tablespoons of our teriyaki sauce. One tablespoon of the sesame oil mixed with soybean oil. Some of the cayenne pepper. This is just more so to taste. Feel free to use as much or as little as you would like. This is what's going to add the spice. And lastly, we're going to add some of the garlic that I minced earlier. I only used 1 clove here. You can use more if you would like. This actually was a pretty large clove, so I thought 1 was only needed. And then we're going to whisk this together. We're just going to turn this to a medium. We want to eventually bring it to a slight simmer, have it reduce a little bit and help thicken it. And we'll come back to this in a minute. I'll whisk it a little bit more. Help keep the mixture together. Now when you're whisking, you can either go in a circle motion or a nice figure 8 sometimes helps to break it up as well. All right, let's check on the cauliflower. It's looking good. I'm a little worried that the bottom isn't gonna get as crisp as the top, so I'm actually going to put it in 2 separate pans. Now you can see that our sauce is starting to reduce slightly. You can see that it's come to a simmer. I'm actually going to turn the temperature down just a little bit to a more low temperature. Whisk it. And that's what we want. This is just allowing some of the water within the sauce to evaporate to help it thicken. Very, very rich sauce. Lots of flavor. It's great though. All right, let's see how it looks. Okay. We're just gonna test it really quick. The way that you test a lot of the veggies that get put into the oven is you take a knife, just a small kind of paring knife, you press into it, and there should be little to no resistance. Just like that. Perfect. Take the other one out. And now we're ready to mix. All right, we'll add the cauliflower. add our sauce. And then mix, of course. And here we have spicy honey baked cauliflower. Hope you guys enjoy. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time.